Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending my statement. I got a time limit and I will cope with this time limit as well. So it's up. It's resuming. So I start in the meantime with my preliminary remarks. I try to give an answer to the question of this part in the concept of principles of the market economy. This is perhaps a circumvention, but it seems only like this because the core problem we are facing is not to reinforce only or to adjust the market economy, but to save the market economy if we regard what's happening during the last years. To explain my personal position is quite clear, but it should be transparent. I'm a liberal economist, or to be more precise, I'm a liberal economist and representative of the social market economy. Being a scholar of Professor Müller-Amack, the academic designer and inventor of the social market economy, and the man at the side of Ludwig Erhard during the 50s, when the social market economy was established in Germany. And at the same time, he did all the negotiations according to the economic order of the EEC. And so far, that's the background of my part. And if it sounds to be radical what I'm proposing, don't forget that in the 19th century, the liberals were the radicals in the political arena. I must go. Yes, I give my statement the title Wanted. Reinforcing market economy by reintegrating the financial sector. That's the core problem we are facing. And I have two messages. First of all, to reinforce market economy by strengthening its principles and its actors in the real economy. And to overcome the split between the real economy and the financial sector, that's to say, reintegrating the financial sector into the scope of market economy. And this means reinforcing market economy and the real economy is strengthening three essential principles of a market economy. And the first is every economic order has a special sociological structure. This sounds strange, but this is one of the most important factors if you regard a market economy, especially if you take part in the values of Uniopac. And this is, first of all, a market economy is more than a set of economic targets, instruments, and markets. An economic order is a mirror of the institutional framework of the society. And a market economy has always a societal aspect. This is a fundamental part which we must keep in mind when speaking about a market economy. The second principle is a market economy needs a reliable public, legal, and administrative infrastructure. A market economy needs freedom for mainly private activities, but the actors are not able to organize a complete self-ruled order. Here the liberals worldwide are of different opinions. That's the opinion of continental Europe and especially of the social market economy. The state has the responsibility to establish the frame for free economic activities and to control them. In order to protect this freedom against private and what is of greater interest as well, state infringements. So he must do it and he must restrain itself. That's a big task in itself. If the state succeeds to ensure the rule of law and of competition in the markets, the state produces its most important input for the market economy. That's stability and expectations. Let us turn to the third principle concerning the real economy. A market economy is based on private activities mainly, be it on the supply or the demand side. This is perhaps not a principle at the first instance. It seems to be a commonplace. But if you put it into the relation to the other principles, then there is a contents. Enterprises, entrepreneurs, and scientists are the essential drivers of innovations and sustainable growth. They all need encouragement and freedom for their actions, and what is of great interest, they work mainly in small and medium enterprises. And so far, small and medium-sized enterprises are not only the most important part in all successful economies, they are the actors and they coin the sociological structure, especially of a market economy. The published opinion doesn't pay too much attention of this fact, but this is the fact in reality, and the political order and the economic order and the legal one framing it must take account of it. To put it in another frame, in case of a trade-off between pretended economic efficiency by more concentration and less competition and freedom for economic activities and actors, the choice then ensured by the public order ought to be in favor of freedom. And so far, efficiency is not all. There must be regarded that there normally is a trade-off to the over aim of freedom. In the long run, and this is an empirical effect, in the long run, this is the better choice for the societal and the economic targets. So let us go to the real problem of today. This is to overcome the split between the real economy and the financial sector. The most severe danger for the international market economy is the split between the real economy and the financial sector. And this gap has been opening since the 90s. The subprime crisis since 2007 and the European debt crisis since 2010 have deepened the gap. And the rescue policies have damaged the rule of law, distort the competition order, and tend to perpetuate this split. This endangers seriously the market economy more than any traditional state interventions before. To go in more details, it splits the economic order and the legal order between the real economy and the financial sector. It wipes out large parts of the legal order and introduced and has been prolonging unprecedented privileges and systems of subsidizing especially for systemic banks, which were highly responsible for the financial crisis. Despite these unconventional access of central money supply and near zero rate interest policy, positive impulses for the real economy are rare or absent. A Japanese disease is more realistic than a broad economic upswing. This is the order is a different one. What is more serious? So these are the economic and institutional effects, but what is more serious or what is behind? These policies and privileges are no longer only an economic problem. They are a political problem because the policy institutions do not dare a change of policy. They behave as being in a trap. The systemic banks exercise a sort of blackmailing, and the economic order is continuously distorted. There is a fundamental, so some conclusions. There is a fundamental lack of scientific analysis about the long-term distortions. What we need is an analysis similar to the one which Joseph Schumpeter presented in 1942 to provoke political changes. His famous book, Capitalism, Socialism and Democracy. This provocation was successful and led to a political change which turned his very pessimistic forecast to be wrong. The second conclusion is the present situation is similar to the one the USA faced between 1880 and 1935, the free banking era and the high times of trusts. By competition laws, especially the Sherman Act in 1890 and following actions, and the policy destroyed powerful trusts and split banks due to an economic rationale, but mainly due to a political rationale of democracy, and to restore the rule of law, to restore the freedom of citizens. This was the deliberate aim of the Sherman Act, and to protect the supremacy of the legitimate political institutions and political affairs and in topics of the economic order. A similar strategy is necessary to reintegrate the financial sector, especially the systemic banks, into the market economy. The choice, pretended efficiency versus freedom, has to be taken. Competition has to be restored. Financial institutions have to be brought back to a liquidity restraint. All banks have to be put under the rule of being responsible for losses and frauds, like the enterprises, employees, and consumers in the real economy. And last but not least, systemic banks should even be detached by actions of competition policy, a rule rarely used but from time to time necessary to keep freedom of economic actions. Thank you for your kind attention.